This is not 50 years ago. I'm Jeff Stein with today's Iowa Politics Report. Next week marks the 50th anniversary of the infamous break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters in the Watergate building in Washington. Those of us of a certain age recall the following summer, 1973, when daytime television was dominated by the Watergate hearings, actual congressional hearings that just happened to be televised. Well, those stand in stark contrast with the sham made-for-TV proceedings carried by the national networks last night. They were not compelling television. They were not interesting. They were also not ready for prime time, both in terms of content and production value. They did not get their money's worth, the committee that is, from hiring a former network TV executive to produce the show. And really, that is the biggest problem with the whole thing. They opted to put on a show instead of hold a hearing or report to the nation. And given all the buildup in advance, I don't know how it could have delivered, and predictably, it did not. And if this was part one in a series, as we've been told, no doubt the ratings will drop off even further going forward, just like when you watch the first episode of a new program that had a lot of buildup but fell short of the mark. Keep in mind, most of the folks you hear talk about this today, on both sides of the political aisle, by the way, well, they all had their talking points ready well before the cameras were turned on. It's fully predictable and not helpful in any way. It also reminds me of another widely televised hearing, one we told you about in the Iowa Almanac yesterday. It was on This Week in 1954 that Iowa native Joseph Welch turned to Senator Joseph McCarthy and uttered the now famous words, "Have you no sense of decency, sir, at long last? Have you left no sense of decency?" For those who remain focused on January 6, 2021, instead of being focused on crippling inflation, rampant crime, and open borders, sad to say, the answer obviously is no, they do not. And that's the Iowa Politics Report for Friday, June 10 on Twitter, Instagram, Getter, and Parler at Iowa Politics. I'm Jeff Stein on News Talk 1540 KXEL.